Okay, welcome everybody. We are here in the IOTA Discord, in the Shimmer Discord. Welcome community. We have gathered here for the session 5 of the Shimmer DeFi education sessions, hosted by Bankless Consulting. And I very much welcome Puncha, who has been already presenting, I think 2 times or what, for our community here. He will talk about participation and engaging in DeFi governance. And I'm really looking very much forward to this session. I'm sure we're going to have some interesting questions from the community. So welcome, Puncha. You can start your screen and get into your presentation.
Perfect. Thank you very much for having me, and thank you for nice introduction. So yeah, I will be today walking you through kind of how you can get involved in governance, how you can get involved like very actively, like submit your own proposals, or how you can just help some of the proposals being shaped up and kind of like vote on it and like put your opinion on that. Uh, I will get right into it. We are at the 5th session, so this is the engaging session, really being more in the governance. You heard yield farming last week. If you haven't, all the sessions are recorded, so please go to the YouTube channel and you can check the other sessions as well. And next week we will have a session about tokenomics, which I think will be super cool as well. But what we will be doing today, we will be talking about governance, and there are a few things I want to talk through. First is the why, like why it's important to actually participate in the governance, why we even have governance in like this protocols or DAOs and so on. When actually it started that like people who work together also govern together, and what is the history there, and we will check a little bit on like the decentralized organizations and how they evolved. The third section will be very practical section. It will be real like step by step, like how you can plug into the process. uh, I will mention some specific of IoT ecosystem, but also like general proposal process in like let's say majority of the DAO. So if you get familiar with that process, even if you will be like part of another community, you would probably be able to participate as well. And last, I will share some links there. We will also put it in the notes or description of the video, so you can just click on it and go there. And it's really like where you find some important information of the actual participation in IoT ecosystem and broader ecosystem. And there we will also have Q&A. So if you have any question, you can wait for the end. We will have like group Q&A. But if it's something unclear to you, feel free to interrupt me and ask me so I can clarify so everyone has seamless experience. So let's start.
One thing, you can also use the chat here in the Discord. It usually works very well. So if you have a question and you don't want to interrupt Puncha directly, just write it in the chat here in the Discord window in the upper right corner, and we can forward it then.
Yeah, thank you for the note. Yeah, that's also like if you don't want to speak up, you have question, you can also put it there. Perfect. So first, why to participate in governance? Like if you look at it, like there are not like that much participation overall in DeFi in terms of governance. Like if you ever been at some forum, you see a couple people like voicing their opinion there, but not really everyone. If I take like some very well-known DAO like Uniswap, there is tens, hundreds of thousands, maybe uni token holders. However, not that many people participate. And this is actually a problem, because if we are users of this platform and we want to contribute to the platform, we want to make it better, we need to give kind of the feedback, and we need to give our opinions to the platform so they can improve on it. And that's the way how we can actually use our tokens, our power to change something. And like one example is elections, like real world elections. When real world elections happens, like maybe for president or parliament or something like that, like some countries even have mandatory that you have to vote, because they want to hear everyone's opinion on that. So they really choose, let's say, the president or prime minister, which will be representing the group. And the same should be also in our DAO governance. It's smaller scale, definitely smaller scale in some countries. However, it's critical that you are participating in it, so your voice is heard. And then the changes you want to have, or someone, if there will be some representative board or something like that, those are the people which will be representing your voice. And how we actually got here. So one of the first DAO, which like happened, like really put together people and like do something together in very decentralized way, was the DAO. You might have heard of it. It hasn't lived too long, but it was pretty successful. It's only one of the examples, like I would say very short-lived DAOs, but like it changed a lot. So in 2016, the DAO started. It was on Ethereum network, and they basically wanted to create a venture capital fund that everyone who wants to participate can send their ETH and get like the DAO tokens back, and then they will be deciding where to invest those financial proceeds. So very, I would say, straightforward concept. A lot of people back then sent their ETH into the contract. They raised $150 million, which would be $18 billion into this valuation, if you consider price of the ETH. So like it's a big amount of ETH in the treasury. However, unfortunately, there has been a bug discovered in the contract, and all the funds were basically lost. So there was one of the biggest hack, I think, in history of blockchain, and all the funds were lost. They were not truly lost, let's say, because afterwards was hard fork. But that's just one of the example like of how we started. But you can see that like people get together really quickly, and when something bad happened, they also together decided, it was like majority vote, that they will do the hard fork, and basically all the money will be returned to the participants, and those who voted that they don't want to basically do the hard fork, it's now the Ethereum Classic. But if they won't participate in the governance, this might never happen and all the funds were lost. But because they wanted to make a change, and the change is always possible if everyone's kind of decide, we are decentralized, but together we have the power of change. They decided to change, and I think they did a good thing. And that's basically like, I would say, like almost like the first big hack and big governance proposal and change to basically fork Ethereum. So that's one example. Another example, I don't have it on slide, it was more recent, and you might have heard about it as well, was the Mango protocol. It was also hacked. The hacker, I think, took like $100 million. It was hacked on the price oracle. So they took a loan which was not backed really by much collateral, but the price oracle was manipulated. Therefore, it evaluate the collateral much higher than it should have, and they withdraw $100 million from Treasury. The interesting and funny thing there is they use that money to submit proposal on their forum and to basically ask the community to give them 50 or 70% of what has been stolen, and the rest will be giving back to the community. And if they basically approve the vote, they should not like go after those hackers, because it will be like white hat kind of deal. And the hacker itself used those tokens to actually vote for it. And because he now owns like very big chunk of Mongo protocol tokens, it looks like it will go through like kind of approve his own um, governance proposal. So there are things where it went, I would say, well, and it has good outcome, but there are also some things where the governance might have not been working well, and we need to learn from that. And that's why, we are innovating, and we are innovating usually from those bad or good experiences. Something did not play as we expected, what we can change to make it easier. From the DAO example, the code has been too complex, and there has been basically a space to go wrong and basically to withdraw those funds. Therefore, like Moloch DAO started to focus on really simple governance structure where it will be least amount of code in the contract. So nothing really can go bad. Like there will be less spaces to do the hack or something go wrong. Also, another innovation is the rage quit function. They have means like if I have, let's say the DAO will issue 100 tokens, I have 10 tokens from the DAO, and there is $100 in the treasury. If I rage quit, I return those 10 tokens to the treasury, and I take 10% of the treasury to myself. So basically, the tokens give me a power of getting the exact percentage of tokens I own, the percentage of the treasury itself. So it's kind of like I can really sell immediately back to the DAO the tokens, just take the percentage of what is on treasury and never come back. So this is something what it's a very interesting concept. I would say it does not really work everywhere, but it simplifies stuff. Then another innovation what happened was on-chain in-chain voting and Governor Bravo from Compound, which other protocols use as well, or they have used this as a base for their own on-chain voting. And again, it was very simple. I would say sometimes it's too simple. It's hard to modify, hard to do some different parameters. It focused on security, therefore it really tried to be not too complex. Again, something can go bad. And when we think about DeFi, and we are here kind of thinking about DeFi, there are big money in stake. So some changes on the governance can really mean like that 100 millions get sent somewhere or not. And we don't want that something can be manipulated, like the address where it should be sent or something like that. So the Governor Brow came up with very simple but very effective on-chain voting tool. What we discuss that like participation in the DAO, sometimes we don't have time to do that, and it's fair, but we should still kind of participate. So what Gitcoin has done is a delegation program. So I don't need to personally participate in their governance if I have my representative. So basically, I vote once a year, and I say, okay, I want this person to represent me because they have the similar vision as I trust them with their judgment. and I give them tokens. So that was another innovation, which Gitcoin and few others at the same time came up. And one more was airdrop. I think the first really successful and big airdrop has been Uniswap, but there were many more protocols. I would say even before, but this was one of the bigger ones. And it's like how to evaluate your community and give them governance power if they participated in your protocol. And now it's used and it's more sophisticated than before. It's not just snapshot that I have used Uniswap contract, but it's more like Optimism or others have done. Like I have people participating in governance. That's, for example, one of the parameters what Optimism has done. So please participate because you never know who will be airdropping tokens based on governance participation. And they had it, and I it was kind of a big percentage, like what went to people who participate in governance, and not just their own governance, but overall, because they really appreciate people who comment on proposals, submitting proposals, and so on. And now we will get into process. So just let me pause here, like if everything is clear or some questions pop up.
Maybe one thing, because you mentioned the Mango market thing, and I also observed this is quite a stupid but also funny thing that, like you said, the hacker is now using the stolen governance tokens to vote on a proposal, basically to give him tokens and not sue him from the police. How do you envision, or how do you think the thing is going to be solved? Do you think they kind of will do something like a social consensus, like a hard fork, and say, okay, we use a snapshot from before and let's say revert the hack, because now, like you said, they are stuck in this governance process. It will very likely be a valid vote with enough tokens in the vote to make this decision in favor of the hacker, basically kind of jeopardizing the whole governance process. What do you think will be the outcome, or what would be kind of a solution to avoid basically this mess now?
Yeah, so I don't know like exactly how Mango governance is set up, but there can be few things. So some governance can basically not respect the decision, and they do have like kind of overriding powers within the core team.
Yeah.
So that's and can be used in some particular examples, and there is like multisig with usually like 7 to 10 people, and they kind of can override that. Therefore, like the hack will still be on. However, the proposal will be kind of dismissed. So that's one option there. Some protocols, and we will talk about MakerDAO later, have kind of like how shut down process. So there is like a process how to shut down the whole protocol, and it basically put their native token into a contract which will get burned. So that's irreversible, and everything gets shut down. And it's usually used when like there will be something like what is going on. Someone is hacking the protocol. We don't want like more bad to happen, so they would basically shut down everything, and then they relaunch the token. They might do new token and so on. But it's super complex, and I don't I don't think anyone has done it yet. So it's more like theoretical. But they can reissue their own token. However, it won't be that easy to do so, because they need support of the whole community. And basically, like if the tokens has been already sold, they cannot do anything about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is some of the examples. They might be lucky in a way that if the hacker lock those tokens in their contract in the governance, they cannot sell them. Therefore, they can like in the meantime try to do something. But nothing is happening that fast in Web3, I would say. Web2 is going fast, but like this is like hard technical stuff. But overall we should learn from that. Like it's unfortunate for them, but we should learn from what happened, how the price oracles has been manipulated. We should avoid that, and this kind of education sessions. We have now like broad topic like governance, but also like have like deeper topics like price oracles and what can go wrong. It's super important. Like and I will show also there we have also like governance education group, and there is like people from various DAOs and other protocols, and we just share with each other our learnings, and it's super powerful because then if something like that bad happen, it's said what one project. However, then other can learn from it and avoid it. So I think learning is super important in this case.
Yeah, thanks, great.
Perfect. Thank you for the question. So let's get into the process. So the overall process of governance is, I would say, 5 steps. First is ideation. Oh, sorry about that. I think I reversed the slides and the description is not there anymore, but I will walk you through at least verbally. Ideation is where we are just like with group of people getting some idea what we can do better, and it can be with the mango example. Like, okay, we see the mango example, how we can do better to not happen to us, how our price oracle works. Is there possible that there can be some hack? And this is more like technical stuff, but it can be even more like business driven, or idea on new marketing or something like that. So really idea how to improve the protocol happening in the step one. Step two, proposal, solidifying. We have idea, we know the details, let's solidify it, let's put it in the template and present it to the wider group. Then we can have discussion with the wider group. So really like discuss with everyone, is that something what people are interested in, what we can execute, and so on. Voting, if we already finished the discussion, we adjust the proposal. Now we need to solidify it. So we need to really like ask our token holders or community members, however it's set up, please let us know your opinion if we should proceed with it. And then execution. So when it's approved, how the contract, the proposal gets executed, and there can be also multiple options. So phase number one, ideation. It's really to start the discussion about improvements. And those discussions can be happening literally anywhere. It can be in Discord, uh, it can be Telegram if you have it, but it can be also at some conferences. And I just put some example here. But like you meet people in the real world as well, and you just have a chat about something what you have just seen at the conference. I'm sorry, there is some echo. Can you go on mute?
Yeah, I muted. Yeah.
Thank you. Um, and really like brainstorm how we can do, in this case, like IOTA, better ecosystem, how we can build more projects on it, how the project can be better. Like we might have seen it at some other ecosystems, or seen it like something went wrong. Like, okay, how we can avoid that. And this needs to be like kind of part of the culture. So ideation, it's like one of the steps which is the most impacted by the culture. If the culture, and I see here like there's a lot of people, so that's good. Like the culture is about like give us our ideas and we will consider it. More ideas will be happening. But some cultures, and it's, I would say in Web3 it's not that common, but like in some traditional corporations, like please just work, don't give us our idea. We are here to ideate, you are here to work. Like in that ecosystem, nobody will actually be giving any idea. So this is really a phase, and like I would strongly encourage everyone who is like part of the community hear from others, because this is like important. they might have really good idea, which you can then help them execute. The next phase, proposal. Ideas are usually verbal, some async communication, but now when we have like all those information together, we put it into proposal. And proposals, 99% written form, where we really solidify our thinking. It takes some time to write a good proposal. So don't assume that it's like a chatting, in 1 minute you will be done, because you need to present to the community something so they can see it as you see it. They can see the value as you see the value. And it's sometimes hard to write. But when you do it once, the second time will be easier. And every proposal is appreciated. Some of the proposals might not be approved, but that's fine because you can learn from it, and you can see, okay, the community think differently. They want to do something else. How I can help there? And you just don't waste your time, because the proposals were out there. You spent a couple of days, but you have not start doing that stuff, because community helped you to actually shape your mind. Or in most cases, like, they will help you to shape the proposal itself, and that will be kind of the next step in the discussion. The proposal can be literally about anything. It can be about funding requests, so like funds for some other project, fund for some activity, marketing spend, something like product enhancement. Like, I have already maybe developed something and I want to enhance it. So this is the piece of code I would like to kind of ask to be added to the protocol or product, and you are asking for approval there. And there will usually be some security review and so on. Governance changes, like, I don't like how the process works. I would like to change it. I would like to have less layers. Let's go, faster, or maybe the template, it's not something what fits the purpose. You can suggest changes to there. And or there is other projects coming in and they want to partner together with, for example, IOTA. So they will put on the forum, like, we are project XYZ. We can bring to IOTA system this. We have this large community. Would be great to have like common calls every Wednesday. Would the community be interested? And it can be simple as that, or it can be broader. So, and it's really where everything gets solidified and on paper, and basically this is starting the project. And some tips. I mentioned templates. When you will be submitting a proposal, check on their forum, and it's usually the pinned topic, if there is a template for the proposal. You don't want to be redoing stuff, and the template also will guide you and will make it easier for you to actually execute it. So check if they have templates and start with the template. Check the scope of proposals. Many protocols have a DAO and foundation, basically like the core team, which is decentralizing over time and giving powers to DAO. But depends on what phase they are in. The DAO has some powers, but not all of them. So you need to check what actually can be decided through this governance within the DAO, and if the proposal is within that scope. Again, it's about like you not kind of waste the time with something what cannot actually happen, or there might be two different governance processes, and you just need to decide which one you go based on the type of the proposal. IOTA have both template and some scope restrictions, so the DAO have like clearly stated what can be decided and like what needs to be the template for the submission. And also the submission itself, some DAOs are requiring you have some trust level on the forum, so you are like kind of core contributor, or at least like you've been here at least like a week or month or something. So again, like you should be aware of it. You should check it out. There's usually guidance how to get there, and then you can decide if you want to write up the proposal and if you will be able to submit it. Actually, one more example, it's like you need to hold some amount of tokens. It's something what some DAOs has, like there is a quorum for submission. So you need to have at least 100 tokens to submit, or someone needs to delegate to you 100 tokens so we can submit. In IOTA case, you just need to be at certain trust level on the forum and participate, comment on other proposals, and you will get there. So don't worry about that. Just go there, go to IOTA forum, and actively participate in the discussion. And the discussion. So that's where each of you should get involved. If you don't have enough time or you don't have the idea at now what you will be submitting proposal for, start the discussion. Help others shape their proposals. Put your opinion there. If you don't like something and why you don't like it, put it there so they can modify it and make it better. Or like if you feel like this is like the right direction and this will be, and if they put something on top of it, it will be even better, put it there. Or just support their idea. Like it's also nice to hear like that someone feel the same way. So it doesn't need to be really complicated, but be part of the discussion counts. And like you will also get more involved in everything what has happened. You will become more trusted contributor in each community you participate, and you might get airdrop from someone because like I have seen it that participation in governance has been rewarded on some protocols. So there can be many values you can get out of it, but the highest value is like you are helping your community to be better and do better proposals and better product overall. Uh, so some tips there. If you are actually the one like who has the proposal there, be responsive to all these comments and kind of open to the change, because people might see differently. As you write it, we are coming from different countries. It might just feel different. So be open, like this might be really good idea. Don't be more like I don't want to incorporate everything, my ideas are the best, because more people know more things. So overall, like throughout the discussion, I've seen it many times, the proposal gets much stronger, and then the voting is basically a formality, because all community members already put their opinion there. You shape it together. Why someone would vote against it if their ideas has been already incorporated? Of course, if it will be ideas against the proposal itself, probably cannot be incorporated. However, openness, it's really a key. We are here together, we need to do this together. Yeah, again, check the process. The discussion might have like specific requirements in the way that it can start only on Mondays, and it runs for 5 days, not longer, not shorter. It can be really like various stuff. So you want to make sure that like everything what you have, like the proposal itself is ready, you are ready to be responsive and so on. It's tied to the process, and you are not kind of again like getting confused by what is going on, but really get familiar with the process. And I already said that it's not that hard to get involved. Just go there, go to the forum, check what is interesting to you or what you have experience with, and help shape the proposals, because this is really a community thing. Voting. If discussions goes well, voting is a formality. All feedback is usually incorporated. All voices has been raised, and we basically know how the voting will happen because we already discussed that. So But still, we want to make it fair. We want to make sure that we are representing the values of the community and so on. And there are many types of voting. I think the most common one is really one person, one vote. Okay, just correction. The most common one in like real world, it's one person, one vote. So that's something what we have like, for elections and so on. The most common for crypto or Web3 is like one token, one vote. And we see many combination of those now happening. And the combination happening because one person, one vote might not be fair to people who are more involved and more invested in the protocol. However, one token, one vote will really give big advantage to deep pockets, and like we don't want that either. So quadratic voting is something what it's used for that. So of course, person who has more tokens has more votes, but it's not. It's basically exponentially decreasing the number of votes compared to number of tokens. So if they have one token, they have one vote. If they have 10 tokens, they have 5 votes. If they have 100 tokens, they have maybe 7 votes. So it's like really exponentially decreasing. Another is conventional voting. I would say that one it's a little bit controversial because should it count that I believe in something long term and like my kind of votes are increasing over time just by I am keeping the same kind of stand, or should we rather support like that based on the circumstances people should maybe reevaluate if they still should think the same way. And why it's controversial is because Web3 is changing so much. Like one day this might make sense. The end of the day, it will be like the worst decision ever. So it's something what we are trying, but I think we don't have stable market enough to actually implement it successfully. And then delegated voting. It can be, again, this is delegated voting. It's not really dependent on type of voting, but like if we don't want to vote like on our own, or we want to have representatives, something like we have politicians, we don't go to the parliament to kind of vote. Like we vote for the parliament itself, for the politicians, and they vote on our behalf. That's something what we are implementing in Web3. I said Gitcoin has it, and other ENS, MakerDAO, and others are implementing the same. Sometimes it's optional, sometimes it's mandatory. Uh, and then like the type of voting, like where it's actually executed, like on-chain or off-chain voting, again, depends on the type of the DAO, and where we need like high security, but maybe higher friction is okay. On-chain voting will be the choice. If we are just like deciding like on some more like social stuff, low stake stuff, probably on-chain voting, off-chain voting will be much easier. Okay. Some tips, and as I said, like voting can be just a formality if you have good discussion. If you incorporate all the feedback, clarifying during the discussion, why you are doing that, and people agrees with it, they won't change their vote. Also, majority of the voting is public. We know who vote how. Again, not sure if that's good or bad, but like in this case, if they support you on the forum, it will be just weird if they don't support you on the on-chain voting. Check the process. Again, there can be multi-level type of voting in case of IOTA. There is. First, it needs to go through the forum, so it will be on discourse. There will be first voting, kind of that the communities agree that this vote should go up for the actual vote, and then there is the on-chain voting through the Firefly wallet. So again, like there might be different process, different communities. Check that so you know what will be the timing and how you need to go through it. And execution, this is really like very quick, when the vote gets approved, when the proposal gets approved, how the execution happen. DeFi protocols and like was kind of on-chain voting automatic structure, those smart contracts get automatically executed. So if I do executive proposal, for example, on MakerDAO and gets approved, the executive proposal gets immediately implemented. But I can also do, kind of non-automatic, but just like pooling proposal or something. Like, is the community like, wants to do that? And if that's approved, the execution will start, but it's the team who start writing the smart contracts, and they will basically, we will trust them that they will execute it. It can be even, more off-chain when the team just gets budget and they have their project plan, and we believe that they will execute with that budget. Nothing will get executed on-chain in the sense that the smart contract gets immediately implemented. However, it's more like building new features, creating new partnerships, and something like that. But for you as a contributor and for you as a kind of like active participants, like the first three phases are the most important. Definitely, like ideation, proposal, and discussion. I would say that if people deciding where to get involved there, you should get involved, because there you're giving the highest value to the community. Voting and execution, it's just as I said, sometimes it's just a formality, and like the highest value happening before. Like if we have high turnaround at the voting, I think that's the reason. That's basically the outcome of high turnout at the discussion and at the proposal level, because people got involved, so people are interested to vote. If we have low, usually the discussion might even happen. So just if you are wondering where to get involved, forum is the best place, or Discord. Again, we are going to another section, so just pause here if there is any questions or comments.
I just wanted to give a comment because I really liked what you said, and it's really very clear from also our experience now. I mean, these putting a proposal out and getting others involved is such a super valuable thing. We have seen it now we didn't have so many proposals now on IOTA, but all our proposals have basically taken a really, really long time in the ideation phase. Yeah, so the current ones we have always like we have as a group like 2-3 months working together, and sometimes you have basically another 6 or 8 weeks where it's just stuck in your head, and then you put it out into the group and you start this phase of discussing it with others, and you really see how much better every proposal has been gotten as soon as it was available and visible and discussed with others. And today, we just yesterday released a proposal in the forum, and we got like already 25 really valuable comments and additions and suggestions. Of course, also some critics, but it's like you said, it's just a super important part that you don't do these things all the time just hanging in your own head, or like a very, very small group with 5 people. Put it up into the public and get feedback from there. This usually leads to a great outcome and a much better proposal than you had it before.
Totally agree. Totally agree. So, there is just 21 comments. So if you haven't commented yet, just go there and comment on the newest proposal. Yeah, it like community make stuff better, and that's why we are here in Web3. We want to create community of builders. We want to build cool new stuff. So I have two examples, which I will walk you through. I'm not a bias here because like I'm also participating in MakerDAO governance. So I already mentioned a few of these, but like MakerDAO governance, it's like one of the DAOs, and one why I actually choose that. Like that's a DAO which kind of decentralized almost completely. So they did have a foundation, but they dissolved the foundation, and all the powers are within the DAO. So pretty much every decision is made by a DAO, and that's pretty big responsibility. I'm not saying that it's going like without any hiccups, but MakerDAO is still I believe largest by TVL, so they are still very successful. They do have, because of the security, because they have the high TVL, they have on-chain governance, and like everything needs to go through the vote of the token holders. But the token holders itself uh, doesn't need to vote on their own, and that's why I am there. So really, like there is a delegation where we have, I think now it's 25 delegates, to be less, which are like almost full time at the MakerDAO, and they are focusing on improving MakerDAO, and really then providing reports to those token holders about why they have voted like that, and the token holders decide if they keep the delegation or they will delegate because maybe their priorities change. I think this is a really good system of like professional delegation where people are professional, so they are even paid for it, and like they are getting those tokens to represent kind of the values of the token holders. They have multi-level, I would say, structure. There is a on Discord. There is like a signal request. So basically, like what is the kind of almost like community feeling about it? It's a one person, one vote. Sometimes it's capped by the trust level. Same as the IOTA, there is some like trust level. Higher trust level might have like some different permissions, like submit the proposal. Here is like for a vote, so we don't have like 20,000 people who just came to the forum voting for important proposals, but we have the people which are already involved voting. If that past that, there is a pooling vote, which is already on chain, and it's with the tokens. But it's not that there is a smart contract behind, like it gets executed, it will get into executive vote later if it's approved, or there can be 2, 3, 4 options, and it can be prioritized. So whatever prioritized gets to executive vote, and that's implemented on chain. The other DAO which I have thought about like to present to as a like very interesting concept. It's much newer DAO than MakerDAO. MakerDAO is one of the oldest. Nouns DAO, I think, one of the newest, and it's an NFT DAO, and they kind of created NFT project but with governance in mind. And how this works? I believe you might have heard about it, but just really start with the basic. Nouns DAO is producing one NFT a day. Compared to other NFT projects, which just like drop like 2,000, 10,000, 100,000 NFTs at one point, they focus on like very linear and sustainable growth. So there is one nouns every day minted. The noun give a person a power of being part of the governance. So if you want to be part of the noun's governance, you actually need to own the noun, or someone needs to delegate you nouns so you can submit a proposal, which is it's solving one of the issues of having too many people at the same time coming together and they don't know each other. Therefore, like there is all tension. And there have been other NFT projects. If you have been part of an NFT project, you might know there are 20,000 people at the Discord coming October 1st. And like there is no like core, there is maybe some core team, but like 20,000 came at the same time, and they are trying to start working together. Super hard to manage. Those NFT projects usually failed or like took them really long to kind of reinvent themselves. But in this case, they started last year. Not many people knew about them, and they are getting one person at the time into governance. They basically know each other like best friends. Maybe not anymore, but like getting one person in the DAO every day, it's not that hard to get to know each other. And with that, they have such a strong cohesion and such a strong culture and strong, really like mindset of the same vision, because like they are passing that vision from the original founders to one additional person every week or one additional community in case it's more like community bought one noun for them. uh, and the last thing what I would mention about nouns is also their structure. So this is the core structure in the way like this is how nouns are governed. But overall, the structure of the nouns are not it's not very fixed. If I look at some protocol DAOs or something like that, they usually have very clear structure. They have like work streams. Within work streams there are some pods and so on and so forth, and that's how they kind of operate. Nouns is like, no, we have vision. We want to fund every project what will kind of promote and expand nouns. And if you want to be part of the nouns as a sub DAO, or you want to fork it, or you want to create your own project, like totally separate from it and just get some funding, totally fine with us. There is like almost no structure whatsoever, but there is such a strong and clear vision that it can work very well. So, and what I would say to it, it's sometimes structure actually it's not efficient when you are not supporting by the structure anything, but you are just restricting. So every time when you also doing a governance structure, think about it like, are you restricting or are you supporting? If you're supporting, good, that's a good structure. If you're restricting, just skip the structure whatsoever. Like structure does not need to be there for people to follow the same rules. And I would say that would be kind of my last thought. Here are some important links. It will be part of the description, so you can just click there, like get to governance forum and to the post how to participate. You probably already on IOTA Twitter, but if not, here's the link. So you hear all the announcement. If you want to also participate in the on-chain, you need Firefly wallet. So here's the link to that. Bankless Consulting, where we are from, is our Twitter, but also we are part of the Bankless DAO, and they have special blog about DAOs and their governance. So if you are interested to read more about kind of general governance, that's the blog I would recommend. And that's it from me for today.
Amazing, Punja. Thank you very, very much. This was pretty interesting. Do we have some questions in the audience directly for Punja or friends? Okay,
I
because
monitored the chat and I have not found any currently.
what didn't you found?
So I did not see any comments in the
Yes.
chat here.
Yeah. I have one question to you, Punja. This is regarding you also mentioned it's kind of hard to write good proposals, and I mean this is also something that we see. Um, you have this like diametral view of you want to describe something very detailed, especially in our case where we are kind of basically we're designing in the moment like the governance framework, which is kind of it grew into kind of a really huge document. And what I really see is that people really struggle to understand these things and grasp these things if you if you put too much detail in. But on the other hand, you also want not leave things too much open, because this in the end you always think, okay, this will lead to confusion or to misunderstandings and things like this. So do you have some tips, guidelines, or I don't know, literature, or how to structure a proposal in the best way so that it captures all the information but still stays approachable for let's say normal community members that have not been involved deeply in the process before?
Yeah, that's a great question. And generally, like people struggle with that because, yeah, it's hard to balance those two. What I would recommend overall on the governance structure and other proposals as well, it needs to be simple to understand the overall concept, and it needs to be upfront. So if you think about the governance structure, I should be able from like one page understand like what is the rest of 100 pages about, and that should be just maybe clarification of some points. But like really, what I recommend it's like in the overview section, I should be able to understand what is going on here, and then the rest is kind of clarification of some points, maybe some technical details, and so on. So really it needs to be well structured in the way that the reader it's following and gets the same understanding at the beginning as you have when you were writing it. So that's like I would say like when I'm writing proposal, that's what I'm keeping in mind. Like I want in like first 30 seconds, like get the attention and get the information about the whole concept to the reader, and then we can go from there. There might be some more advices like I can give like on the governance structure itself, like and what I have seen, you know, how it outgrow itself, and sometimes we had to basically strip it out and go from the beginning because it just nobody really remembered all the like rules, and then like you don't even follow the rules because nobody remember them, so it's like you need to be really mindful of like is it important, and as I said it, are you restricting something, like actually restricting in like bad sense, not like you want to protect, but like are you restricting, like just don't do it. If you're supporting, yeah, of course. And like this is the overall kind of though, but yeah, it needs to be clear and it needs to be understandable, and you need to know your audience is the another one. So if you are writing proposals, you need to know who you are writing for. If I'm writing it for, I don't know, that I want my parents to understand what I'm actually doing for a living, I would write it very differently than to you guys when I'm talking about governance. Like I would definitely like leave some details or some basics out because you already all know them. But to my parents, I would probably not go into details, but go really basic.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think this is something we still have to work on because but I agree, you need this, and I think this is also what we have been struggling with, or what I've seen in the responses to our first proposals, kind of like it's kind of too overwhelming, and you need this simple upfront. And lucky we have been able to do some nice graphics that basically describes the flow. I think that has helped a lot, and we'll try to work a little bit more on that to have it really, like you said, have one page that describes everything that needs to know, and the rest is really just laying out the details in concrete manner. But for most people, the first, like I said, the first minute of reading is the most important one, and they should grasp kind of everything that is needed out of that. That's something we need to work on. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I can, like, I might have one question, like, who from to the community, like, maybe just unmute yourself if you have already participated in governance. One.
Unmute yourself. There are more.
I have.
Good.
So let's say from this group, I know I can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, minimum 7 of this audience here. I know that they have participated, taken part in the discussions. Yeah. So
That's good.
yeah,
It's
we
a
have
it's a half,
yeah, we
basically
have a
50%.
yeah, we have basically, I don't know, we started, let's say when we started like 1.5 years ago, like where everything started in governance in IOTA, the first decision ever started with really, I mean, we had hundreds of contributors. And now over the time, we still have a core contributing team that, I mean, we meet 2 times a week for governance sessions and discussions here in the Discord. So that's also a lot of time that is used, and we always have 15, 20 people that are around, changing from time to time, but they are all the time involved in things that we do here, and I'm really happy about that. That's kind of great. Basically, they always attend the meetings and take part in the discussions and shape the proposals together. That's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, that's actually pretty amazing. For a project like you've been here pretty long and like you still keep like the same or similar core team with good participation. It's good. It's good start. But we can participate more.
Yeah,
Always.
I would hope. Cool.
Okay, so if there are no any more questions, you can still reach me Discord or over email or something, whatever you prefer. Happy to, talk about governance more. And thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot, Puncha. This was really great, really nice. Good feedback also for our governance process and some nice reminders and additions to what to think about and what to improve in our way to make things better here. Thanks a lot for you to doing this today for our community. Appreciate this very much. And for all of you, we will be back with more DeFi education in exactly 1 week, next Thursday. I think next time at 4 p.m., but I'm not sure. We will put up some tweets. And next time it's about tokenomics. I think that's going to be also a super interesting session, and it will happen again next Thursday here in the IOTA Discord, supported by the great team of Bankless Consulting. Thank you all. Thanks also Markus and Puncha for your time. And everybody of you, thanks for contributing, for taking part, for showing your interest. And see you again next Thursday for DeFi education. Next Tuesday, we're going to have the next governance session here in the Discord. And for all of you that have not yet checked our new proposal in the governance forum, please go there, please read the proposal, share your opinion, put your opinion up in the poll. It's pretty important that we get our grant committee going so that we can start pushing the ecosystem. So just hop over there. It's not such a long read. It will take you 5-6 minutes to read the proposal, and then you know what we are up to. Yep. Thanks a lot, everyone. And we close it, and we see you